Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking for Friday the 2nd of November. Can you believe it's 2nd of November? Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I continue to grow every day and I'm still a little blown out by the whole journey really. I'm going to change the tarot pack this morning, so I'm going to use the Golden Tarot by Cat Black. If you haven't subscribed yet, please, love to have you on board. And if my readings don't resonate, you know the drill. I want to say a few shout outs too. I've had people from everywhere. I've now got a couple of people who are speaking to me quite regularly from New Zealand. So hello, New Zealand. A lot of people from the US, a couple of people from Canada, and from some of the obscure countries that probably I've never even really given much thought to. So I'm so grateful to have you all on board, and it just makes me feel so incredible that I'm reaching such a large audience doing the work I'm doing. It's a little bit sort of out of the box for me, but anyway, we're getting there. Oh, we got lively cards. Okay, Friday the 2nd of November. Oh golly guys, it's the weekend. Okay, these beautiful cards because they're done with artwork. Look, just pull my sleeves up so I can get into it. Tradesman. So the card we have on the bottom is the Five of Swords. Now you're going to get quite different pictures here. So the Five of Swords talks about conflict. But see, the thing is, he's standing there and he's won the battle in this, but he has nobody to celebrate it with. So we often think of this as being like an empty win, you know, winning at the expense of others. You know, you may have done something really sort of rash or emotional and then realise that you're standing there on your own and you have nobody to support you. So that's the sort of feeling you get with the Eight of Swords. They're very slippery, these little suckers. They're moving around all over the place. Okay, so the first card out we have is the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords is a card of making a decision. Now, in the traditional deck, she's blindfolded, but in this one, you can see she's looking away. She's not really interested in what's going on. Actually, it looks like she has a tower in the background. It's a mountain. Very dark, isn't it? But she's not really taking much notice of this decision. The only thing that's similar to the traditional tarot is that she's holding them across her heart. So she's obviously got to make a decision which we think could be about love, but whatever it is, it's going to hurt. So she's not making that decision. Okay, and then we have the Seven of Cups. Look, this is coming up all sorts of confusion here. There's been some sort of battle won at the expense of everyone else. Some decision that now needs to be made because of that, and you're totally confused. This is why I ask people to write in every time I do a reading and I get asked to mention something. I think that's really obscure, and then everybody writes and says, no, hang on a moment, that's me because this has happened. And I think, yes, I am able to put the messages out from spirit, which is pretty amazing. So I am still reaching a lot of you out there. So this is here about confusion. It could be about choice because we have this Two of Swords here. So it could be that you've done something in that Five of Swords to cut something off, and you now got to make a decision and you have a lot of choice in front of you. So it can be that way, or it can be about confusion, delusion, illusion, as I always say. I have the cat with the cup on, the cat with the cup on it. Oh my God. I have the cup with the cat on it this morning. Somebody said last time, oh, I love your cat. I've had this forever. It's been everywhere with me, this cup, and it still looks brand new. I have tea in my cup too this morning. Okay, next cup out. Oh my goodness, I need to give this away already. Is the King of Wands. So the King of Wands often represents a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. Now I'm thinking for some of you, this man has something to do, or this person. No, it feels like a man energy, this one. This is male energy. This person has something to do with this decision. So maybe something's happened here. Okay, let me just put another card out. I've got a couple of messages coming through, but I want to make sure. Okay, all right, now it makes sense. Okay, so I have a hanged man here. And the hanged man talks about, you know, taking time out to look at things from a different perspective. It talks about being enlightened, but it takes it's time out, basically. It's time out. So somebody here has done something. And I think in the Five of Swords, they've maybe said some harsh words, sharp words. They've certainly done something to create this situation where, you know, you stop and you think, okay, I've done it. I've done what I wanted to do. And then you think afterwards, oh, golly gosh, have I made the right decision here by doing this? Because now I've cut this person off, this situation off, and I'm not sure I wanted to do that. So, say for example, if this were a work reading, it could have been you were really angry about something and you've told someone to shove their job up their backside, and then realised straight afterwards maybe it wasn't the right thing to do. I've acted irrationally. I was too emotional, whatever. Because now you have a choice on which way to move forward here. There's also a lot of confusion here. So maybe you're not sure here with this King of Wands how the other person is feeling, or how the situation will pan out. It could have to do with a manager or a boss. The King of Wands can be a person who's in a position of power. It also can be, if it's in relation to some sort of family or romantic argument, could be someone who's very attractive, very in charge of their kingdom. He's very alluring, charming, sort of powerful, the King of Wands. He's not sort of an emperor where he's really got his ideas and his practicality in place. This is he's more of a passionate king. So I feel like some of you have made some sort of rash decision that you're now questioning here with this Two of Wands, because you're confused about whether you did the right thing or not. The Hanged Man is telling me now that you're taking time out to review what you've done. And then we've had the World. To be honest with you, it looks like this situation had to happen. Sometimes, yes, we get very irrational and emotional about things, and we all say and do things we don't mean to do, and then question afterwards whether we've done the right thing, especially if it's hurt us. So, for example, if you cut off a relationship because you realised it was toxic, it doesn't matter how much it hurt you, you're still going to question whether you did the right thing. If you had fights with family members and cut them off, it's very, very much the same. You know it was the right thing to do, but you'll still question whether you did the right thing or not. It's just our human nature to go into the negativity and question what we've done instead of accepting it and moving forward. So the World is here, which says to me, whatever happened here was meant to happen. You've cut out what you needed to. You're now going inside to have a look at it. I think you'll come to the conclusion that there was no other choice and you had to do things the way you had to do them. Now we have Two of Wands. So you now have two different pathways. So this may have sent you in a completely different direction here, because you're now reviewing which direction to go in, which is okay. That's a good thing. The Two of Wands talks about having that choice. So I guess what Spirit's saying is you can go back down the pathway of making the apology and taking back what you've done, or you can move ahead knowing that what you did was the right thing for yourself, which is always good. Okay, and then we have the Five of Wands. So there will be some internal conflict here. There may be a bit of external conflict as well, because whatever you've done, you may have stirred up a little bit of a hornet's nest here, especially with this Seven of Cups. There's a bit of confusion. So either way, there's going to be a bit of that negative thinking. And then we have the Emperor after I just spoke about him. So, okay. So I feel that this is you. I feel that this is you taking your power back in this situation. So I think you're going to accept in the Hanged Man here that what you did was the right thing for you, because it's bringing your power back here. And being on top of the world here, I think on top of the world, I want to burst into song, but I can't sing. It's like you've understood now the path you need to go on. You're looking directly at this Two of Wands, which says to me you've turned your back on the world, you've finished that cycle, and you're moving towards a new direction. I like that, because what that says to me is you've accepted whatever you did here was the right thing to do, and you're now moving forward. Okay, and then we have the Hierophant. Wow. It's really interesting to see them both in the same, they're actually in the same line and they're looking at each other. So the Hierophant talks about, you know, understanding organisation, structure. It can be about things like the church, big buildings. Look, I think you're going to move forward in this Emperor, but I feel like you're bringing something new into your life that you've not had before. It's this more structured way of looking at your world. So maybe you're coming to terms with some of the emotional stuff you've been through. It's like you're putting all this stuff to good use here. You're understanding your journey. You're understanding your direction. You really have gone through some sort of awakening or enlightening here. And the Two of Cups is at the end here. So for some of you, this is about some sort of relationship you've got with someone where you've had to stand your ground and say to them, I'm not pursuing this. You're not putting in the same amount as me. I'm really confused about what you want from me, and I'm just stepping back here. And you really are taking the time to step back to review this situation. This is the end of negative thinking here. And this is now you can move forward and have some sort of relationship with someone. Now, don't forget the Two of Cups is not necessarily romantic. It can be a soulmate relationship, and you could have some sort of tie to this King of Wands here. But you're definitely taking your power back in this situation in order to move forward. I think you'll resolve this. I think that whoever you fought or argued with, you'll come to some sort of agreement here. But it will be more on mutual terms rather than their terms and not yours. So it's a very good outcome there. Okay, I'll draw you an oracle card here. Let's get in the picture with the shuffling. There's been some really sort of deep, I think a lot of people going through some really heavy stuff at the moment, like really turning over their ideas and things. We've got the card of sacrifice here, and I feel like I've had that out a few times in the last few days. So the card of sacrifice, it talks about renunciation, offering and letting go. And I need to read the book, Yvonne. A bit bewildered this morning. 35. I will get to a point where I know these cards, but it will take me a little while. Sacrifice. It says your compassion, heart and empathy will grow as a result of the sacrifice you are now being asked to make. Not by another, but by your own soul. You are strong enough to do this, but you've never known for sure because you've never put yourself to the test. Now you will, and you will see how strong you truly are. That makes a whole lot of sense to me, because I think you've walked away from something here because you haven't been treated fairly. You haven't either been treated fairly or the situation wasn't fair and you've had to fight for yourself. And I can see that with this Five of Swords on the bottom here. There's definitely this feeling that you've done what you needed to. Maybe you didn't handle it in the best way you knew how, but you've achieved from it and you stood your ground, and now you're taking your power back in this World card. Nice reading, everyone. Have a great day.